First of all, I'm wondering about businesses in Melbourne. Have they been given any more clarity about their futures?
Maybe.
What does that mean?
What that means is that overnight, sometime after 11 o'clock, one of the state government websites was updated to say that a range of businesses who were sort of in the grey zone were now permitted to operate. And that included warehouses and a whole range of other manufacturers. But it didn't have the supporting documentation behind it, and other state government websites have still got old information on them. So we're scrambling to try to make sure that businesses are able to operate when we think that they can this morning. So that's why you've got my maybe. I hope we've made some progress around some important issues. I think we have, but we just need to lock that in. But all of this just goes to the sort of the confusion that's been created over the past couple of days.
Well, just elaborate on some of that confusion for us, if you will. I mean, you're on the front line there. You're talking to your members. What are they saying?
Well, mass confusion about who can operate, because businesses work across different sectors of the economy, and then who can operate and under what circumstances. Big questions around what they do with their workforce. I mean, the government said that a lot of businesses, construction, for instance, should go on to a pilot light, and you just can't put business on a pilot light. There's no way you can do that. You can't just stand down 75% of your workforce. There's no industrial instrument to do that. So that's confusing. And there's confusion around the permitting system and how that works and how that operates. And there's confusion sort of more broadly around how businesses can interact and relate to each other. So, look, we're hopeful we can work this through, but as of things now stand today, we are in lockdown. There are still a lot of businesses unsure if they can open or not.
Okay, well, just getting back to what you were saying about maybe there is some clarity, does that mean that that there won't be those huge restrictions in the number of people who are allowed to go and, say, work at abattoirs or go and work at factories, and how might that affect the supply lines?
Well, there's reference to warehousing being a permitted area now. So we think that means that the issues around warehouses having to reduce their staff by a third may have been resolved. But as I said, we need the supporting evidence for that before we can formally give that advice. And as we're part of these discussions with the government, unfortunately, a lot of the terminology has been, look, common sense will prevail, but that's not much comfort to a business owner facing a $20,000 fine or having to explain to a police officer why they're open. So we hope those issues around supply chains for food in particular have been resolved, and that's been a big issue that we've been focused on.
Okay, so, I mean, are you expecting, there's a debate this morning, and I was just talking to the Transport Minister about supposed food shortages and meat shortages that may be in play around not just Victoria but around the country now. Are you expecting that?
Well, there's some signs of that. I mean, we've had bad weather across the country, and we have distribution problems. You have border closures, you have trucks being held up at borders and the like. So it's quite possible in parts of the country that there will be shortages, but we're all working to try to make sure that that doesn't happen. But the reality is that we're sort of wandering now into a complete unknown, and we're having to handle that and work with that. And that's part of the issue here, trying to balance the health as well as trying to keep the economy moving and do simple things like keep people being fed and able to access supplies.